all their attention now is on Super Sunday tomorrow. That's when the Proteas Women will take part in their second successive T20 World Cup final when they take on New Zealand after they knocked out the defending champions Australia in the semi-finals. And the Proteas are gearing up for the big one in Dubai. It was the Proteas Women's first ever win against Australia in a World Cup after 7 previous defeats, and they stopped the defending champion from winning a 4th straight T20 World Cup final after winning the previous 3 titles. And to help us look ahead to Super Sunday tomorrow, we are joined on the line by the SA Under-19 Girls and National Academy head coach, former player, also all-rounder of the team, Dinesha Devnarain. Good evening, coach, from us here on Sports Live, and thanks for speaking to us tonight.
Good evening. Thank you so much for having me, and rightly so. Super Sunday is going to be very, very fantastic.
How super confident are you then, Coach Dinesha?
Look, I want to take the calmness out of the camp. Just watching the girls do their thing, I think there's a lot of calmness in there. It's a lot to. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I'm very confident that cup is coming home.
There was quite an interesting observation made by the commentators in the semi-final against Australia before the game. They said that they could see in the warm-up that the Proteas women are focused, they are calm, and they are ready for this semi-final. Did you pick that up also?
Yes. I think from being a former player, working closely with the players that's in the team, the aura amongst that team, even though we made history by beating Australia, and we know what a hurdle Australia has been for us. We've never beat them in a World Cup match. I do think that obviously we beat them early in the year helped, but World Cup pressure is a different type of pressure. And, the comments made after that was not so much, wow, we beat Australia. It's about we've got one more to go. And I think that's a fantastic trait to have if you're gonna lead your country, or, you're going to represent our nation in a World Cup final.
But it must be great for the momentum, though, to go into the final having beaten the defending champions and serial winners of this World Cup, Australia.
No, massive. I think the whole world wants us to win it now after that here. I think Australia has been so dominant in World Cups. They just knew how to win. And you know what I love about the win is that it wasn't just it wasn't a tight game. I think we gave them a proper hiding, and I love that. So you know what? We are going to be the more confident team, and I do believe we are the favourites walking into that final. But, like we mentioned earlier, it's so important to be composed, calm, collected, focused on each ball at a time, and then, the result will take care of itself.
Yeah, and what has been key here for you, Coach Dinesha, in this tournament as far as the team's performances is concerned? What's worked for the Proteas?
I think a big one for me is that, for the first time in a long time, every single person is contributing. Take for instance Annika Bosch's innings. She was under the pump. People were questioning, should she be at 3? Do you want to throw like an Anna Rive at 3 or Marizan Cup at 3? I mean, we had a World Cup, and look at that performance. That was, a masterclass innings. You look at our bowling department, every single person is chipping in. I know we let ourselves down in the field against the England game, but you know what? We bounced back after that, and that's what it's about. It's about being resilient if you want to win a World Cup. But I think what's different about this unit is that everyone, if 1 or 2 players don't put their hands up, there's someone else that's saying, you know what, it's going to be my day today. And I think that's, it's so important when you're in a World Cup or you're in a big tournament like that there. So for me, and the team just looks unified. They look like they know what they're doing. They're following the game plan. It just looks like a well-oiled unit.
Yes, and let's talk about New Zealand, though. You've mentioned that the Proteas are probably going to be the favourites. There's no England, India out the way, Australia out the way here. Where is New Zealand when it comes to women's cricket? And do you expect them to go this far in this tournament?
Look, to be honest, based on stats and just the analysis coming in, New Zealand was probably the first team I thought that would get knocked out. They're coming out of 11 straight losses in T20 international cricket. And they're a very young side. I do know, obviously, the likes of Susie Bates, Leah Tufuhu, and Sophie Devine holds a lot of experience in that squad. But if you look at that squad at the moment, it's not those players necessarily putting their hands up. They have like a Georgia Plummer that's being their leading run scorer. Eden Carson's been fantastic with the ball. Amelia Kerr is the leading wicket taker now at the moment. They sort of definitely the dark horse. That's the thing with New Zealand women's cricket, is that they always come as the dark horse in the tournament. I never expected them to go to a final. But hey, look, I think the whole world got shocked to know that it was going to be a South Africa versus New Zealand final. I do think they have match winners that can win the game. But yeah, it's us. We know what we're about. We know what's our brand of cricket, how we're going to execute. And I'm going to say this live, is that trophy has to come home.
Okay, wonderful. And I guess the experience from last year's final will also help this team tomorrow.
It has to. It has to. Look, there was a lot of expectations going into this World Cup, thinking that, because we made the final, we've got to make the final again. It's not necessarily so. I mean, it's different conditions. A lot of people were speaking about the transition in our team, knowing that we lost a few big players, but I think the team has done fantastically well. And to be in another final and knowing that you went through the semi-final which probably would have been our biggest hurdle. At the end of the day, we've got to take this game just as it takes any other game, whether it's the group stages, whether it's the normal series game, and we've got to put our best foot forward.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks for speaking to us, Coach. I know you're excited. You believed in the team from the beginning, and we hope that they pull it off. It will be wonderful for women's cricket in the country. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's wait for the final, and we'll catch up again when they come back home, hopefully with the trophy. But thanks, Coach D, for speaking to us tonight on Sports Live.